Hello and welcome everybody to Crypto Rosetta. My name is Savage and today we're going to be having a look at Cosmos. Before we jump into the price action, I just want to say thank you for watching. If you're enjoying the content, please smash that like button. If you're new to the channel, turn on those bell notifications and hit that subscribe button. Also in the description below you'll find links to Discord. Go and check it out. It is free to join. Okay, so for the most part, we were talking about the possibility of actually completing into this high point here. And effectively now what we were looking for is potentially a retracement to the downside. So this is the target zone that we're looking for, and this is looking for that potential to find a B wave here and actually look to push to the upside here in a three-wave move. Alternatively, we need to be aware that we never took this high, so we need to be a little bit careful of that fact that we could still see the potential that this could have all been a corrective move from here um, or sorry, whether this is a 1, 2, potentially as a diagonal. So we need to just wait for this retracement. This retracement zone is going to be key. If we manage to hold this zone, potentially we can look for that push to the upside again for another leg here. However, if we do start to break down more impulsively, which we're going to go through within the video, then it becomes less likely that this is going to be playing out. So we're going to go over some key areas within this and what we think is going on. So I do think that we are potentially either within this Y wave or potentially we're still within this X wave. And if we're looking at this, basically what we'd be looking at is from further back here, looking to complete into this high. We can argue that it also could start here, where we just count this wave slightly different here. So yeah, I mean, there are two options. We can potentially say we had a truncation within this. So, that is one possibility. But for this option, I'm looking at this as a W, looking for that potential of an X, which could have been completed here. So I have also got this teal wave marked on here, and that's looking for the possibility that we could, instead of developing a C wave to the downside here or Y wave to the downside, what we could see is that all of this move was an A. We come back down for a B, and then we look for that C wave to the upside. So if that is the case, and we are looking to form a flat here, what I would be looking for would be potentially, I mean, in reality, it just has to cross this A wave low, but typically these like to move into this zone here of this 236, 1236 to this 1382. So if we do get a deeper move down in here, it could either be this Y wave completed, or alternatively, it could be a C wave, and a B wave completed rather, and then we're looking for that continuation in the C wave. So what we'll have to do is when this forms, we'll have to see whether we get a five-wave structure out of this. If we do get a five-wave move out, I would be cautious on the fact that that could then be the C wave over here, and then actually look to break to the downside. So we're going to have to keep an eye on it once we get into these key locations further down here. There is also the possibility, like I said, that this could just be completed here, and then we look to form another structure to the downside here towards this 12,115 would be that 1-to-1. So at the moment, we can't really count it as a five-way move because of the overlap, unless we want to count it as a leading diagonal. But even then, it looks more like a three-wave structure at the moment. We've got this move to the upside, which takes this low point. So I'm just counting it at the moment as an ABC, then looking at this potentially as an X wave here, and then what we'd be looking out for is the potential to actually form another zigzag pattern here, which could actually look to bring us down towards the zone. But really, we haven't taken this low yet. So we need to just be a little bit cautious because, like I said, we could still be within that X wave and we could still be looking to form something like this where we actually hold this B wave low and then potentially look to push up. Like I said, this B wave is tricky because we can technically cross the origin of this wave A and still look for this potential to push to the upside. And we don't have, I would anticipate if we come down on the smaller time frames, probably be easier to explain it. So we'd have to look at this as a flat here. If we were going to argue that this is a 1, 2, 3, 4, and a 5. And what we'd be looking for is basically to see whether we get an additional leg down here, where we get something like this. So if we do retrace higher up here and we form a zigzag pattern, the thing is there's not really that much space to do this. And these zigzags tend to target out this 50% at this 13, 66, 7 zone, which would be that Basically, that would be your typical fourth wave as a zigzag. So in validation, we actually come by crossing above this 13462. If we do cross back above that, we'd have to treat this just as a three-wave move, but only really once we take this high. We'd have to be careful within this because sometimes what we can get when these waves start extending is that these form an additional one and a two. So even if we do take this 50% zone, we'd still need to be cautious around the 618, which is this 1347, all the way up to sort of this higher range here of this 13640. If we do start to break above the 786, it becomes less likely that the move is going to become a one and a two. Though really, it just depends on the structure. Sometimes we might even move up to this 854, but generally speaking, the 786 is sort of the cutoff point we look at for like a wave two. So once we start to break above that, it starts becoming less likely that we have another 1, 2 in here. But also within these subwaves here, we could still be extending out. I've got it marked out as the third wave, but this third wave could still be extending to the downside. So we're going to have to just see how this progresses. If we did catch a move up here towards that 50% zone and not cross this wave one, effectively what we'd be looking for potentially to look to complete this five-wave structure would be a move down towards this 1274 to this 12624. So that would be a zone we'd actually look to move into here if we do get another leg to the downside. Like I said, though, we need to stay above below this 13462. If we do actually just push directly to the upside from here, and we fail to maintain these as highs, what I would have to do then is potentially look at this as a completed move where we've just actually had a WXY and then basically a small Y wave here. So this is still possible. We could see a move up here and then get rejected again, and this becomes an A, a B, and a C. So that 1-to-1 is still on the table, until we really start to break above some of these higher points here. If we take this X wave, it starts to become less likely. However, really until we actually take this high of this 1478, then we would still have to be a bit cautious. So the current 1-to-1 off of this low point, if we're looking for the potential of this C wave to the upside here, um, would actually be this 1560 area. So this could be an area we actually look to push into at a 1-to-1. And then what we could then look for is actually this X wave to move along sideways here. And then actually we still have that Y wave to the downside. So if we do move back up here like this, we'd have to be watching this leg once it forms. If it forms as a five-wave structure, then we could argue that this has been a flat correction. If it develops as a three-wave structure, then we'd look at it as a WXY. And then we'd be looking for that potential what happens from lower down in this range. Really, I'd like to come deeper, but sometimes the market does well, most of the times the market does what it wants and not what I like. But I'd like to see it come back and sort of challenge some of these zones here between this 382 and this 50%. And then from there, we would have to watch the retracement to the upside. If we do get a shallow three-wave retracement, something like this, then we could look for that potential to still be looking to come back down lower within this box area. But at the moment, like I said, we haven't really taken out this low point yet. So we've got to be cautious that this C wave is still not in play. If we do take this low, it would also depend how far down we come here. If we move down to this 1-to-1 of this Y wave, like I said, we'd still have that possibility that this could be a B wave, this is an A wave, and then we're going to get five waves up. So it's going to be a little bit tricky to navigate this. This is the whole thing with complex corrections within here. And basically what I'd be looking for is still looking for this potential to break to the downside here. If, however, we take this high here, um, what we'd have to argue then is we could actually still be within this as a B wave. So this could then become an A, this could become a B, and then this could still become a C. So we'd have to still be a bit cautious, even if we do take this high, that we don't just move up to this zone here. So I'm just going to throw this on here. So this zone here would be a potentially dangerous area for rejection. If we do actually break above here, this 1634 to the 1725. If we do move into this zone, we could still look at that possibility of having a five-way move down, and this would just become an A, B, and a C. So, there is still that potential. We could look to fake out to the upside here and then actually come to for a low retracement down towards this fourth wave area. If we do just move down into here, we're going to have to monitor the moves that happen afterwards, because like I said, we could then look at this as potentially a completed move, and then we have our B wave in this location, in which case we look to push up one more time. Alternatively, this could be the start of something else. So we need to just give it a bit of space and see how that plays out. There's nothing really impulsive about this structure to the upside here. I mean, you could potentially argue a diagonal into there, but really, if you lose this low at this 1274 range, you can't really look for any extensions to the upside here anymore. So we're gonna have to just monitor this. If we do maintain this low, and we do start to get five-wave structure here, we'd have to see how high it comes. Like I said, the only way you could really count this would be as a diagonal, and they're not as reliable. And what we'd have to be looking for is actually a move much higher to the 1656.9. And then if we did get a move up into this zone, like I said, we'd have to be careful because it could just be a C wave, and then we actually look to form five-wave structure down. Or alternatively, what we could do is get an additional fourth and a fifth here. There's nothing really calling for it. Like I said, it is possible that we've actually completed this move into these highs, and then actually we're looking for that deeper retracement. So for the time being, I am still looking for more downside to come in here, but we'll have to see what the market gives us. Talking about downside, one thing we do have to be a little bit careful of, and this is looking for, we did talk about this in the previous video, that we could actually, because we actually haven't moved up above this 1790, 1719 area, we can still look for a potential to break down here, where we could still look at this potentially as a one of a either as a one of a diagonal pattern, where we actually look to break down in three-wave structure and actually take this low point here again. Or alternatively, we can also argue, that from back here, we could have this as an A, B, and a C, and then it looks to break down. So there's a couple of things still in play. Until we actually take these highs, though, we need to just bear in mind we can still extend to the downside here. So got to just be a little bit patient with these moves and see how we hold these key levels on the way down. The looking for that potential to actually break down, we'd be looking for something like this if we're looking for five-wave structure. So we'd then talk about this actually moving, actually completing into here with a truncation in that fifth wave, and then actually looking at this as a 1, 2, 3, 5 into this low. This is a wave 2 to the upside, and then potentially looking for these additional structures to start to break down here. We would look at this as a 1, 2, 1, 2, and then potentially we would be within this yellow third wave here. And what we'd be looking for confirmation of this would actually be a deeper move. So we don't have any confirmation for this. Like I said, this can break down. We could still see this as a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We test these lows out here. Then we get a retracement up here, and we fail to break back above these high points here, and then we look to break down again, and then we get further extension within these waves. So it's all going to be relying on whether we actually manage to hold these zones as resistance, and whether we actually pass above them. If we just keep moving up towards that 50%, 786, and then continue to break down, effectively what we could see is something like this, where we form a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, which brings us down to this 1181 zone, which would then lead me to start searching for this fourth wave to play out. If this fourth wave does play out, what we'd be looking for as a target would be this potential for this 11635 to this 11358. We do get that, then we would be looking for potential rejection again in this zone here, this 1296 to this 1217, and then looking for a final push down in a five-wave structure here, where if this does actually move lower than this 10834, then we can start saying that, okay, we've had a bigger five-wave move off this high point here. And the problem with that is, if we're looking for the bullish count, what we would then anticipate off of this would be basically a three-wave move to the upside and a continuation to the downside again. And we'd have to watch this wave here because if this actually breaks down below that key support zone that we were talking about within this other option, where is it? This one. So if we start to break down below this $10.53 zone, it becomes less likely that we are actually going to be looking for this as a potential AB or 1-2 situation where we're looking for that bullish count. So we're going to have to give it some space. I mean, nothing's invalidated really, as long as we're above this support zone, we can still look for that potential upside, but really we do start to break down too deep within this, we can still look for that continuation and actually looking to break down lower off of this move and taking out this $8.43. So we just got to be patient with this one and see how we actually get on here because, like I said, we haven't actually taken this low yet. There is still the potential to push up for this C wave. So if we do get that move up here for a C. We've got those two sort of targets that 1-to-1 of this A level of this A wave would actually bring us into here. And then if this does extend out slightly to the upside here, potentially we could look for this 1733 to the 1636. Okay, so I'm going to leave the video there. I hope you found it useful. If you did, please smash that like button, hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, turn on those bell notifications so you never miss a video, and leave us some feedback down below. Also in the description, you'll find links to the Discord. Come check it out. It is free to join. Once in the general chat area, just add mention a member of staff. We'll be happy to help you out with anything you may need. Also in the description, you'll find affiliate links for both BYBIT and PrimeXBT, both great exchanges that we use on a regular basis. Check them out if you don't have an account. Using them does help the channel, and we do appreciate it. Everyone, have a great day, and we'll see you in the next one.